I am frequently contacted by people who are trying to figure out how to navigate social justice ideology or DEI or wokeness or whatever you'd like to call it, either at work, in an academic program, their children's school, or another social setting. And I wanted to offer a couple of suggestions for ways that you might move through this if this is something that's been a problem in your life. And the first suggestion that I have is to establish or connect with a non-woke reference group. I think this is really important for a couple of reasons. And the first one is that this social justice ideology, when you're in it, when you're in a cohort that's being taught this way or being trained this way, and you look around and you don't see anybody questioning it, and you're thinking in your mind, this doesn't seem right, but everybody seems to be going along with that, that can really be baffling, and it can really start to make you question your sanity and your reality. And so connecting with people that can hear you and listen to your concerns and share your concerns and share their concerns, and where you can really speak freely, can be such a needed sanity check. And I think that's very important in and of itself. But also, it's important to connect with people and really, really connect with them. If you can meet with people in person, that's always best. But online is fine too, if you can't find a local group. But just being able to actually speak with people, not just read message boards or watch videos, but actually talk and exchange with people, is a valuable reminder of humanity. And I think one of the things that social justice ideology really does is pit us against each other. It breaks us down in this intersectional framework that loses sight of what it is to really connect with another person. When we're always weighing out our different, what our marginalization and our power and our privilege, and looking at each other through a framework of resentments and entitlements, to establish a connection with people who are thinking outside of that and are really concerned about that and actually want to connect, is therapeutic and important, I think. And so that's the first suggestion I have. The second is to try to come through the emotional fog of this experience and clarify your goals. What do you want to happen? What is important to you? Are you just trying to get through this next year because you're about to retire or graduate? Is it important to you to challenge this stuff? Are you trying to figure out how to mount a challenge and to speak up against what's going on at work or at school or in your child's school? Are you just trying to protect your child from something that you think is really dangerous in the educational program that your child is in, etc.? So figure out your goals. And that can be hard at first because it is just very emotionally overwhelming to go through this. And then I guess part B of that is to build a bridge from here to where you want to be. Figure out what is your strategy for getting to those goals that you have. How are you going to do that? And again, that can seem very overwhelming, but when you break things down into a series of manageable steps and strategize, you can find that you can often do a lot more than you think you can. And that's where having that reference group can really be helpful in talking through that process. And sometimes it might be just a process of journaling, or perhaps working with a therapist or a coach or a trusted friend, so that you can really figure out how to get from where you are right now to where you want to be and see what's possible in your life. And the last thing that I would suggest is to really try not to compromise your own values in this process. Don't let the ideology get you to violate your own conscience. To the extent possible, adhere to your own morals and to your own ethics. And I think that it is perhaps one of the most psychologically painful things about this is when you feel like you have violated your own conscience and been forced to do something that didn't feel right to you. Perhaps you've already had to do that. Forgive yourself and figure out how to not do it again. Figure out how to get to where you are able to navigate this with your values and your conscience intact. And I think a part of that is to remember the humanity of the other, that even when you really disagree with some of the things that people are doing and saying, and you think that they're harmful and you think that they're bad, you're still looking at an individual. This is still a person who, for whatever reason, is believing this or going along with this. They have their reasons. You may disagree with them. They may be wrong, but they're still an individual just like you. They're still another person just like you. Don't let the ideology convince you to see people in terms of us versus them, and in terms of individuals as representatives of groups or of thought processes, because they're not. We're all subject to human nature, and there are lots of reasons people may do things that we don't agree with, but I think that holding on to the value of their humanity and of your own, and respecting the humanity in the other, is a really important thing to not lose in this process. Okay, well, I hope this has been helpful, and thanks for listening.